And then, as I've said it on this show and elsewhere, I'm deeply disappointed in my own governor, Ron DeSantis, who I voted for 3
Yeah, I was
times.
going to ask you about him next. So yeah, go for it.
I just think that it's a personal act of treachery. He's 42 years old. He was lifted out of obscurity by Donald Trump through a tweeted endorsement. He was not the favorite of the Republican establishment in this state. 67 county chairmen had all endorsed his opponent, Adam Putnam, the state agriculture commissioner. Every Republican state legislature had endorsed, including the Senate president and the Speaker of the House, had endorsed DeSantis's opponent. Every member of the Republican congressional delegation from Florida, with the exception of Matt Gaetz, had endorsed Ron's opponent. He was at 7% in the polls. His opponent, Adam Putnam, the former agriculture commissioner, was at about 50, 49 and a fraction. It was looking like a blowout when Congressman Gaetz, friend of mine, convinced the president to take a flyer and endorse Ron DeSantis, because DeSantis had come to Trump's attention by defending him on Fox during the Russian collusion hoax. Unbeknownst to Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis never endorsed Donald Trump in 2016, even after Donald Trump was the nominee. He withheld his endorsement, which is ironic because in Ron's congressional district, Trump ran much better on election day than DeSantis ran in running for re-election. Nonetheless, I just view this as an act of treachery, an personal act of betrayal. And I knew it was, I was an early warning on this one, in the sense that I knew this was coming. When I first told President Trump that I thought DeSantis was going to challenge him, he told me there was no way. I made this guy. There's no way. Now he believes it, and he's not very happy about it. As I say to people all the time, if you have a choice of hearing the Beatles or a Beatles tribute band, which one would you rather hear?
Yeah, the Beatles.
You'd rather go watch and hear the Beatles.
Yeah.
We had the leader of the America First movement, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He was cheated, in my opinion, out of a second term. He deserves a shot at that second term. Governor DeSantis has huge problems here in Florida. We are having a home insurance crisis. Under a law signed by Governor DeSantis, if your home was destroyed in the hurricane and your home insurer is offering you pennies on the dollar, nowhere near what it would cost to replace your roof or your home, you can no longer sue the home insurer. They're immune from lawsuit. If we have a utility rate crisis, Ron DeSantis took $9.5 million from Florida Power and Light and its subsidiaries, and we've just gotten a 22% increase in our electricity bills.
Really? In Florida?
This is a state with a lot of senior citizens and people on fixed incomes. We now have the first malaria outbreak in the state's history. And in all honesty, the governor has sought very hard to reinvent his history in terms of the handling of the COVID-19 vaccination and pandemic, but he was a full-throated advocate for the vaccination. And we had lockdowns here much longer than President Trump favored lockdowns, our beaches, our restaurants, and so on. So that's revisionist history that just doesn't meet the test. Meanwhile, the governor's taken huge contributions from Big Pharma, those who make some of the most the puberty blockers, some of those who have made the vaccination. So there's a lot of hypocrisy there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear you say this, because most of us have not heard any of this. Even the people that see the increase in rates probably didn't know he was taking all that much money from the utility companies. So we had no idea. I mean, I don't have any property in Florida. I don't live there, but my heart's in places like Texas and Florida. These are go-to states if my state won't comply with some sort of reasonable, righteousness. I'll just put it that way. But we'd hear things like DeSantis took on Disney, and for many of us, we thought that, well, thank God that he's taking on the groomers, and that made him a hero. I mean, talk about that aspect of it.
Look, I think the governor's done some good things. When he's accused of banning books, he's not banning books. What he doesn't want, and I agree with this, is taxpayer-financed pornography being given to school children.
Yeah.
He's right about that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think his struggle with Disney, that has gotten lost in the crossfire.
Okay.
And in the end, there's a lot of corporate politics there. I'm not sure he's going to be successful. But he's taken on some important fights. I'm glad I voted for him.
Yeah.
I would just like him to return from Iowa and do the job
Yeah.
we elected him to do. For example, he signed an executive order that said that school boards would be prohibited from pushing, sexual or racial dogma in the schools, critical race theory, and so on. But they're doing it right now in the Broward County school system and in other large school systems. And it was a great pre-campaign rhetoric, but it has no enforcement because the governors in Iowa or Tennessee
Oh,
are
wow.
this today. He only was reelected, I guess now 6 months ago. He needs to come back to Florida and do the job that he was elected to do. He's 42 years old. He's got plenty of time to run for president. Had he just waited his turn, in all honesty, and picked up the loyalty of Donald Trump by campaigning aggressively for him, win or lose, he would have been the front runner in 2000.
Wow. Wow.
Now, I believe, Steve, that he has irreparably destroyed his political brand, and here's why. I think there's a group of voters out there who are not Republicans and they're not Democrats. Let's call them Trumplicrats or even Trumplicans. But they will vote for Donald Trump and no one else. They are turned off by politics. They're turned off by both parties. They're turned off by what they see as a broken system. They did not vote for Mitt Romney. It's why he lost. They will not vote for any candidate other than Trump. They're overwhelmingly blue-collar people, working-class people. They believe in Trump, the man, and his platform. Those people are now, I think, alienated from Governor DeSantis forever. So even if, God forbid, Donald Trump got hit by a bus tomorrow and couldn't make this race, Ron DeSantis would not win a general election because those voters have been disillusioned.
Yeah.
They have been deeply disappointed in him.
Yeah, and if I lived in the state, I'd say just he's burned his bridges. Let him keep being governor. We'll let him do that and bless him in it and thank him for the good decisions. But he's blown that other one.